just a second. Hello, this is JJ Asgar. We are going to be playing around part 3 with Elastic today. I have a guest. His name is Thomas. Say hi, Thomas.
Hi, Thomas.
Always good, always good.
Classic.
So if you haven't seen the other 2 videos, we've been playing with Elastic in a handful of different ways. The first video, we did the RPMs and played some very basic things. Last week, or part 2, we actually used something called Habitat. Do you want to quickly just kind of give a rundown of what Habitat is and all that jazz, Thomas?
Yeah, Habitat is a mix of a build system as well as an actual distributed daemon that runs all of your apps. And we use that to install a pre-built package that I made that has all of the Open Distro security stuff packed into Elasticsearch so that we would have SSL and passwords and all that good stuff.
Awesome. And we spent the time doing it last week, and we got some pretty cool, we learned quite a bit. I genuinely did. I'd never played with it. And using Habitat to control a Kubernetes, or not a Kubernetes cluster, but a Elasticsearch cluster really did streamline a lot of the work, which was really, really cool. And we were able to update things on the fly, make the changes we need to make, et cetera, et cetera. This week, but we only ever did everything through the command line. And the ultimate goal of this whole project originally was I have a machine here where I run something called VMware. And we've been doing all this work inside of VMware. And I have a cluster here where I have a bunch of different machines, including something called an OKD, which is OpenShift. I have a Minecraft server for my kids. I've got Jenkins, and here's our ES cluster here. I even have Etherpad running now too, believe it or not. That's a nerd joke.
I have 5 campfires.
So we needed to get data because I'm building up this infrastructure. And what we're going to do today is install something called Kibana, which is a visualization to get the graphs and all the prettiness to be able to start seeing what's going on. And also, but before that, we're going to use something called metric beats. And there's a handful of different metric beats out there, right, Thomas?
So they're actually called beats.
They're called beats, okay.
And beats are things that ship data into Elasticsearch. So before we start messing with Kibana, step 1's going to be try to put some data in there, so we have something to look at. And metric beat specifically is a very useful one for system admins. It's a little lightweight Go daemon that you run on your servers, and it ships back server stats like what your CPU is like, how much memory you have, how much free disk space, your disk I/O. So if you ship all of that back in Kibana, you can make dashboards that show like CPU of all your boxes. Another one we're going to put in, depending on what logs you want to send back, we're either going to set up journal beat or possibly file beat. And what those do is they take your log messages and send them back to Elasticsearch. And once you do that, you can have really cool dashboards that have like CPU usage over time and then HTTP error codes over time. So you can see, oh, there was a spike in CPU usage, and then we got a bunch of 500s. And you get really useful operations info for anyone who's like running any kind of infrastructure.
Nice. So what I have up here on the screen right now are a handful of the other ones too. I did not know about this packet beat. That's really neat. This heartbeat uptime, which is nice too. So this is going to be fun. Yeah, it seems like these two. So in essence, by using the file beat also, would that be like using, like, what would the advantage of it other than being free, quote unquote free, compared to using something like Splunk? Because I know Splunk is a really, really big log file aggregator, and there's a lot of different options now. So what is the preferred way to do this, or what's the advantages?
So Elasticsearch is a little more flexible than Splunk. I'm definitely not a Splunk expert, so I may be a little bit off on anything I say about Splunk. The biggest thing is what you just called out, which is it's free. It's also extremely flexible. Like, if you really wanted to, you could put weather data in your Elasticsearch and graph your CPU usage based on outside temperature. If you thought that was important, you could have tweets put in there, and you could graph network outages to like tweets that have, bad sentiment analysis in them, which you could make some really interesting dashboards if you really wanted to.
Okay.
And like, actually, now that I think about it, that'd be a pretty interesting dashboard if you're running a major web service. Have something that's doing sentiment analysis on tweets and putting that data in Elasticsearch, and put that next to your network outages graph. And it's like, our angry tweets per hour has jumped to 72. This is a real serious outage.
Well, it's crazy. Just to kind of simply plug my overlords at IBM. We actually have a workshop that we use that analysis using Watson. So in theory, we could actually probably spend some time and put that little dashboard together pretty easily.
Yeah, because all you would have to do is get the Twitter feed for whatever phrases you care about, run sentiment analysis on each tweet, and then make a document, put it in Elasticsearch with a score. And then you could just be like, average sentiment score of tweets, or angry tweets per hour, or whatever. And then you could tie that into a dashboard of any other data you wanted. So you could get really flexible.
That would be pretty fun to figure out. It really would. Oh, nice. Okay, cool. Well, so it feels like we've got a pretty good, path to success here. So what should we do first?
I will warn you that I have prepared not at all for this, so I'm just going to be kind of winging it. So the servers you want to monitor, I'm assuming there's some kind of Red Hat style OS.
Good question. Let's just start with. How about we just start with my Jenkins box, because that's a pretty important one, and it's a Debian box, I believe. Let's double check here. I believe it's Debian. Yeah, it's a Debian box.
Cool. So the first thing we're going to do, now we installed Elasticsearch 654, and it's a pretty good idea to be pretty consistent across the stack with version numbers, especially major version numbers, because they've made some changes over time in how data is stored and things that matter. So I like to just go with the exact same version across the board if I can.
Okay.
So let me send you. That is the Debian package for metric beat for 654.
Okay, and we should be. This is what we're going to do. This in Jenkins. So SSH Jenkins.
And I think these we're just going to do with the packages and just the manual vanilla install of them.
Okay. Now this curl that you just sent me, is it relatively easy to find these version numbers as specific as you were saying, or do you have to hunt around the site a little bit to find them?
It can. So what I usually do is they have this link, which you can link to anybody who's watching, which will show you the latest version. And then I literally just change the version number in the URL to whatever I want.
All right, so I'm bringing up that site right now, or I'm trying to at least. Maybe. Just thinking about it. Whoa, that was loud. Sorry about that. Here we go.
I didn't hear anything, so I think it just played in your ear.
Oh yeah, well, whoever's watching the stream, they would have gotten a massive clunk noise. Here we go. So this is what you're saying. Switch out that number.
Yeah, to whatever version you have. And on the if you don't want to just do that, on the right, do you see the little drop down that says 7.3 current?
Yep.
If you drop down to 6.5,
but I don't have a shotgun,
which is what we've been using,
what kind of help I can get you right now?
That's actually really important whenever you're reading the docs. That little drop down is going to be on the right. and make sure you're reading the docs for the version you're actually working on.
Okay, makes sense.
If you just go straight to the docs, you can end up on like random versions.
There we go.
Yep.
Dropped you a med kit.
All right.
Okay.
So let's go into Etsy metric beat.
All right.
And I'm going to be doing a little skimming of the docs myself. There's a metricbeat.yaml. There's actually a metricbeat reference.yaml as well.
What is he hitting you with?
Let's, yeah, if you take a quick look at that, that's going to be a really long file.
I don't hear this mech.
Because metricbeat knows how to monitor a lot of different things.
Okay.
Wasn't that close, man.
So let's scroll through here and I'll give you some ideas. So there's a conf.d directory that's going to have a bunch of different modules in it.
I used it all right.
And you can turn them on by just each one will be like something .back or something like that. You'll notice like all of the stuff, this is pure YAML.
5.
Yeah.
So metricbeat is modular. And what you're looking at right now is the system module, which is what I was talking about before, you know, memory, CPU.
What is it? Highlight, HI, light, one?
I don't know off the top of my head.
I used to know it. Okay, so yes. So CPU, load, memory, network, process summary.
Yeah, and if you see the period there, basically it's going to be sending in all of this data every 10 seconds, which can end up being quite a bit of data. So you may want to change that period depending on like how granular you want your events to be, right?
Do you have lunch?
Yeah.
No.
I usually make sure to have the disk IO available as well.
I'm checking with you.
Well, this is the reference. This isn't the one for executing.
Oh yeah, it's a good point.
Jimmy, you ready?
So let's start scrolling down and see other things because we're gonna go mess with this somewhere else. So do you see that processes include top N?
Come on, bro.
Yes.
What that's gonna do is show you like the top number of like processes.
Are you good?
Like the top CPU users. So by default, it's not going to give you an entry for every process on the machine because you end up with a lot of data that way.
Okay.
But you can have like top 10 CPU users on a box. So if you go into a dashboard for that box, it'll say, hey, the last time we pulled it, these were the top processes using CPU. To kind of help your ops guys, and they'll know what processes are beating the box up. And it'll do that by CPU or memory. And keep going down.
That's sniped, dude.
There you go. So you got a bunch of other CPU stats. It can monitor RAID. So let's keep going till we're past the system one, like because you're seeing basically the details of how each one of those parts of the system module can be tweaked. Keep going down. Here's another one. Are you familiar with Aerospike?
I've seen it pop up a lot lately, but it'd be nice to know.
This module knows how to talk to Aerospike and get the stats for it. I'm not familiar with Aerospike, so I can't say anything really about that other than this one will look at your Apache status page and save the details into Elasticsearch.
Nice. Is there an Nginx one?
Pretty sure there is. Yeah, there's Ceph, Couchbase, Docker. I've used the Docker one. That's useful if you're running like a Docker host and you can see like per container what's going on. And you can see it's just talking to the Docker socket to get all the details it needs.
Oh, yes. Nice.
Hey.
Well,
so you might want to quit out of this example file because it's going to go for pages and pages. Go in that conf.d directory.
All right. Modules conf.d.
Or modules.d. Yeah, so this is everything it does, and it has like in one file each of the examples.
Nice.
And if you notice, only system.yaml is enabled by default.
Yeah.
And there's not a Jenkins one built in, so it doesn't know how to talk to Jenkins and get default or interesting Jenkins stuff.
That's fine. But so this seems like something configuration management should be taking care of. Like obviously we're doing this just for ourselves right now.
Yeah.
But is there a good cookbook or playbook that you would suggest to use with this?
I have been out of the cookbook world for a while. I've been mostly working with Habitat and some other stuff. So I can't tell you how good those are. These are actually really easy to template when I've done it before because they're all YAML files. So you can just have the whole config as a hash, and then your template is just like hash.to.yaml.
I hate the no grab zone, bro. I like it when I do it, but if I build anything,
so it's pretty easy to automate configuring it.
Is PK getting back on to run trios? I mean, at 5.
I'm running too old a version.
Some ancient,
yeah.
Whatever.
He said,
so by default, every 10 seconds it grabs, the basics, the top 5 CPU users, the top 5 memory users. And if you scroll down, you'll notice that module system is in there twice.
Oh yeah.
Actually, multiple times. So every minute it grabs the file system stats. Every 15 minutes it grabs the uptime stats. So you can call a module multiple times with different settings.
Nice.
Belos, hatch.
Yeah. So I think the default stuff is probably going to be fine for us. At least for now. We can tweak it later. So let's go up a directory and look at the actual metric beat.yaml.
So 9 for us.
That's the reason why it's not working.
What? Yeah.
None of that's going to work. You're on like ancient BI.
I had line numbers working though. Line.
Oh yeah, set number.
That's right.
Yeah, they'll definitely be doing them then though, which is good.
Was it set number all one word?
Yep, set number.
I would love to. I
there we go.
They have to have that code, bro.
So the beginning is kind of boilerplate stuff. So some of it's kind of interesting.
Okay.
So line 14, you got the path. That's where it looks for the modules. The reload enabled is interesting. If it detects, if that's set to true and it detects a config file changed, it just reloads itself.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it is pretty neat. It's good if you're doing automation. If you're not doing automation, it can be kind of annoying because like you want to tweak like 3 config files and like you tweak one and it restarts and you tweak another and it restarts and you tweak another and it restarts.
Yeah, that could get a little overwhelming.
Yeah, reload period. So remember we talked a fair bit about index settings? And so you can change the settings it's going to use because what metric beat is going to do is it's going to create an index every day and put the data for that day in it. And you can change things like how many shards are in that index. Since we have multiple nodes, let's actually turn that up to 3. So it'll evenly distribute its data between the nodes in your cluster. And there are other settings you can tweak in there, but I don't think any that really matter to us. Keep going down. You can put tags. Line 37.
Okay.
So you probably want to put a tag on this. It's gonna have like the server name and stuff in there, but you might want to put a tag in there like Jenkins. It's common to have tags like production, dev, QA, because you can filter. You can filter in Kibana based on tags. There's also an environment, which is kind of like another tag. All right, keep going. Dashboards. So set up dashboards is kind of neat. Let's turn that on.
Saying I didn't play that fight well.
Actually, don't turn that on yet. Sorry. Leave that commented out for now. That needs a kibana endpoint to talk to. We'll mess with that later.
Mm-hmm.
Play with Zoopy's one.
They have pre-rolled metric beat dashboards, and that'll push them into your kibana if it's there.
Oh, okay, cool. So you don't have to build it from scratch.
Yeah. Honestly, I usually end up building them from scratch myself too. It's not too hard to build a dashboard in Kibana.
Okay.
Let's comment out, set up Kibana, because we don't want to do that until we've actually got a Kibana host.
Okay.
Oh my god, this just shooting me in the back from there.
And only one box running metric beat has to even do that ever.
I sent a DM out.
We're not using Elastic Cloud. That's
See if
the
Zoof wants to play.
Elastic as a service stuff. Outputs. This is the important stuff. This is where it's supposed to send the data. So what you want to do is give it all of the IP addresses of your 3 boxes or DNS host names, whichever is more convenient. So if you do IP address, that means you won't have to troubleshoot DNS. So that's always nice.
Yeah. We actually had all of them in this patch, did we not?
Yeah,
Bitch.
there are a few different ways you can get them, but yeah, you can actually just copy that. It's in the same YAML array format as well.
I remember things.
But they want the port number on there. It probably defaults to 9200, but let's put it in just to be safe.
All right.
And
bro,
if you notice,
I just saw
the
something,
next
man.
section there is commented out, but we're going to want to uncomment it. And you're going to want to give it some credentials. And you might want to do that one off the screen
Okay.
because it's you're putting your password in this file.
Should I do it as HTTPS?
I'm looking at stuff.
Yes, because we're not serving anything on HTTP.
No, let me get
Got
some
it.
of that.
I'm gonna give you all of it.
And we're probably gonna need to change some of the SSL settings because we have a self-signed certificate.
All right, there you go.
And I'm double checking what you need to do for that.
And that crouch up and down shit is so effective.
So
Dun, 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 dun.
I need a shotgun. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, in that section,
Get ahead of me
Mhm.
for a shotgun.
Larissa said, "My main goal is to be noticed by you, then act like I don't know anybody."
you're gonna want
What?
SSL dot
On the,
verification underscore
for some
mode.
reason. Is that who you're shooting at?
No, I'm
In
fighting
this
the battery.
section,
Oh my god.
Yeah,
there's
You
not
guys up on
that.
the mountain too.
yeah, you're gonna want to add it.
Oh, okay. SSL
Dot verification underscore mode.
verification
In
dot
front of me.
mode.
Underscore mode.
Oh, that's the Brady Bunch, bro.
You might want to install Vim.
Oh yeah.
I'm starting to think I need to. It's fine. We're almost done, right?
Yeah, there's not a whole lot left. Colon, because YAML, they like their colons. And then in quote, put none,
How would you
Okay.
know?
which in prod you would not want to do. You'd want to go get a real cert.
Good to me.
Yeah.
You have a launch pad? If not, woo!
Actually, one of the things I was thinking about streaming is I have an
Oh,
Nginx.
you see this guy?
What's it called? Nginx web server that is now hosting a bunch of my sites, and I was thinking about doing offloading SSL there. So it proxies SSL connections all to my little Asgard Labs domain now. So in theory, this could actually put this Kibana could talk to this,
What?
or Kibana could be behind that Nginx firewall.
Why is
So-
there behind us?
Or
So Kibana wouldn't need its own cert.
yeah, exactly. So
Come here.
I'm getting there. I'm going to figure out eventually, but
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to put that in front of Elasticsearch itself, because Elasticsearch, when you turn on the security, it will not speak HTTP. It'll only accept HTTPS.
Speaking of, we need a box for kibana, don't we?
I'm walking in the door. Invited or not.
You could put it on its own box. That's the proper way to do it.
Yeah, let's do that. By the way, per your suggestion, I now have templates being created by using a pipeline, and I actually have some playbooks that fix a lot of the stuff now. I'm going to not fully say that I've gotten all the IP tables things working how we wanted to, but I'm getting there slowly but surely. There we go. And for the kibana box, what's the suggested hardware, like processing?
It doesn't need to be too beefy, because most of it's going to be done in the browser anyways. So I'd do like maybe a gig of RAM, maybe 2 gigs if you're feeling spicy. It doesn't need a lot of disk either, so that should be fine.
Okay, with just one CPU?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so let that go and do its thing.
Alright, so let's make sure we got everything done. So the default log level is going to be fine. The XPack monitoring is like pay stuff, like you pay to get access to that.
Okay.
Probably nothing too interesting.
That's it?
That's it. So let's save that and see if we can start this puppy up.
Guy from above.
System CTL metric beat.
System CTL start metric beat.
Damn, bro. Of course.
I need an explanation on that.
What happened?
Okay, I went to wall report
And-
this guy, and it looked like on my screen that I wall
No,
replaced
something
something,
did not like it.
But what happened was I pre-edited my wall, so when I went to replace walls afterwards, they were already halfway.
Try journal
How
CTL-F.
can I pre-edit a wall if his wall's there? What? That makes no sense.
Line 93.
Line 93. There's a rogue colon in there.
Take a look.
Didn't you?
Yeah. That. I need. How can I pre-edit my wall if his wall is there?
Nope, there it is.
Yeah.
And yes, I realized my password was there. It's not a big deal.
What was that?
It's
Yeah,
not-
you can set a new one after the stream.
I'm not going to do that.
Zeus
You're
and
not
15,
secure
bro.
at
We
all.
could play.
No, I'm really not.
Play
There we go.
some scrims
That's
for a
right.
little while because they're not going to be on for a few hours. It says we're
That is-
PK's not going to be on for a few hours.
There we go. Cool.
All right. So, see if you can curl one of those
Well, do that, 'cause now we can
IPs from
break
here.
and then come back around like 8:30.
So one of the or you can just
No, I'm gonna be
do that cat indices again. Yeah.
Use scrims then if you want.
There we go.
If you see, there's 48 documents in there
Yeah, bro,
already.
Jimmy's tight. I
Wow.
don't even know what he's. I don't even
That's
know
pretty
what-
crazy.
I'm still waiting for
Yep. So let's
someone to hook me up.
let's go get Kibana installed and start poking around at the data.
All right. Where that machine should be up now. $105.
Hey, bro, John Jones been popping off on Twitter these last couple weeks, man. Jeez.
Oh, that didn't sound good.
Oh, it's my cell phone battery's dying because I forgot to put it on the charger.
Who's he talking about? His
Yeah, so irresponsible.
Oh boy.
Are you up to anything after this, JJ?
I'm gonna be cooking some dinner.
Ah.
Yep.
So it sounds like John's heading to Adalbert's.
Oh, God, I would love to do that. I gotta cook some dinner, unfortunately. If you guys there later on, maybe I can join you.
Ping me when you can get away.
Yep. I will totally do that. Go to come back up. Come on. Just thinking about it. All right. We are in the box, Kibana.
All right. So we're going to want to grab version 654 of Kibana.
Okay. And
Are we talking about the Deb here, or are we talking about
Debian, yeah. Yep. Oh,
So-
sorry. I'm sorry. Just give me a second. I got something going on. I'll be right
Okay.
back. No. All right. So sorry about that. And Thomas has given me the link, which is this guy right here. And what were you saying about the URL just there a second ago?
It's basically identical to the metric beat one, just with the word Kibana instead of metric beat. They're pretty consistent in their URLs, which is also nice if you're writing automation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So, and then I can do sudo dpkg-i, dpkg-i, Kibana. Does Kibana come with its own web server?
Kibana is it's a Java web server.
Oh, cool.
I don't think I've ever fought
Yeah.
here and lived.
So, if you want authentication in front of Kibana, there are two ways to do it. One is to use the open distro Kibana, which we might mess around with that some other time. The other one is to put Nginx in front of it.
Okay. So yeah, we'll probably end up using the Nginx at the right now. Did I spell that right? Kibana. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's installed. So in etc Kibana, there are going to be some config files. Yeah. So we're going to want to go in here. So by default, Kibana runs on 5601.
Okay.
Just a heads up on that. Another one oddball. Well, it's not odd, but it defaults to localhost. So you probably want to change that to 0.0.0.
Like that?
Yeah, exactly. So let's scroll through. There's nothing really important in here. Server name is basically what it says at the top.
Proper number 12.
Okay. This seems important.
I didn't like that video.
So Will says he's hearing some background sounds in the stream.
I don't know what the fuck.
Like another stream. I'm not hearing anything.
Like, how is that possibly going to end well in any way?
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Might be
awesome.
Bro, gotta be careful, man.
With your stream setup.
Yeah, yeah, no, it doesn't sound like anything's being picked up.
Yeah, but whatever it is, it's not being picked up by your mic.
One hit for white and one down over on you.
Yeah.
Two down.
Okay. I don't know what to do because.
Is it pretty bad, Will?
What's his name? Sweaty Goosack?
You see that video of Connor punching a dude?
Yeah. That's all. Some people were saying that he didn't actually punch him. He threw his drink in his face.
He says it sounds like
Oh.
someone playing
Try to watch it
Fortnite
too.
or something.
I watched that shit like 10 times, bro. That looked like a swing to me. But I mean, I don't know. That's I need a little bit.
There we go. My bad. I had the Twitch Twitch homepage was on the background because I was trying to do the what is it, the inspector, to make sure my my numbers were up, like the actual overhead. So yeah, that was, you were literally hearing someone play Fortnite in the background. My mistake. Okay. sorry about that.
Oh, Fortnite. Why are you so popular? Yeah, so it looks like Kibana only wants one Elasticsearch server to talk to.
Okay, so
if you wanted to be highly available, you could point this out a load balancer, but instead you can just pick one of them.
Now, don't I need the username and password somehow?
You do. It's in here somewhere. So we'll just keep going through the config and I'll look it up if it's not. Yeah, here it is.
I don't care if anyone knows that. So
you also need to uncomment it. Oh, yep. add many.
Yep.
We will also need to tell Kibana that our SSL certs are not that great. I'll find out real quick what it.
Server SSL enabled and probably server.ssl verification.
No, that's for SSL for people going and looking at the Kibana dashboard.
Oh, okay.
What you want is, do you see there's another section under there? Mm-hmm. Elasticsearch.ssl.
This is probably going to be like elasticsearch.ssl verification.
It's probably going to be the same.
Tell me I got it right. Tell me I got it right.
No, they changed it slightly. It's verification and then capital M-O-D-E. So
like that?
Yeah, it's slightly different between, and you set it to none instead of false.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Sorry, man.
Computers, right?
Yeah. I don't know why that's slightly different than metric beat, but you know.
Oh, here it is. It's right here. Change the setting to value to none.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we already got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got some technical settings like ping timeouts and stuff like that. I don't think we need to mess with those. Yeah, keep going. I don't think there's anything else. Like you can do verbose logging, change the PID file.
That seems good.
Yeah, let's start this up. See if we got it right.
So
yeah. Systems TTL start.
Kibana.
Yeah, that should do it. And then status. I will warn you, it's a Java web server, so it takes like twice as long as you would expect before it becomes available.
So it's like, but it's running Node?
Oh, it used to be a Java web server. Now it's Node. Sorry. They switched to JavaScript.
Yeah.
They've changed it around in different versions. The old one used to be pure JavaScript, and it was all client side. And then there was a Java version for a while, and I guess it's now Node.
All right. Cannot connect to a, because we never put the password in. Oh, yeah, we did.
Well, let's check our logs then and see what the logs say.
Can I open up Kibana to do that?
If it worked, it's probably your system D log. So try journal ctl-f.
Ugh. Hold on. There we go.
500.
Admin. Shouldn't that be admin-y?
Response time. So there's a license warning for XPack, but we're not using any XPack features, I don't think. Grep 500 out of there.
Unaccepted indices. Expat. So it's got to be something with our configuration, right?
So you might have to have ODFE to talk SSL to Elasticsearch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do a quick Google. In which case, we can just grab the one that I built that's in Habitat.
Did I spell verification wrong?
Try this. Add, no, because that would have just been a config error.
Mm.
Do a search for XPack in here. So try adding this line somewhere in here. xpack.security.enabled.
I can't spell security.
Yeah. .enabled :false. XPack is their for pay feature.
Mm-hmm.
And then restart that guy. So
Okay.
do a journal ctl-f. And now try to load the dashboard. It doesn't throw an error until you actually try to do something. Take everything after 5601 off the URL there.
It's really not happy.
Did we get anything in the logs?
Nope.
Oh, info. This may take a few minutes. Optimizing and caching bundles.
Mm.
The last thing it said is wait, and when we go to the URL, it says it's not ready yet.
Right.
You can do the cat indices and see if there's a new index now on the Elasticsearch server. Because Kibana stores all of its information. Yep. See, so it can definitely talk to Elasticsearch. So all your dashboards and stuff get saved in Elasticsearch in that index.
Got it.
So if you ever want to back them up, you just back that index up. And backups is something we should probably talk about at some point, as well as data management, like how to keep from running completely out of disk space.
Makes sense.
So let's see if that website's working yet.
Nope, still going.
Try loading the website. I don't know if it logs anything when it finishes all that. Oh wait, it actually gave us a message in the logs and told us to run a command.
Yeah, this one.
Please run next command.
Is root.
I'd assume so.
How do I run npm?
I'm
Inside.
looking that up right now. That may just be a warning.
This looks like a very common problem with React.
So that's just a warning. It's not actually causing a problem.
Okay. Yeah, it's just sitting there. You want to restart it one more time?
Yeah, let's restart it.
Started kibana.
This time with feeling.
It is not ready yet. It's still doing it.
All right. Well, and then it finished that and then gave the outdated message. Now try it.
Still not ready.
Try this real quick. Stop that service. We're just going to install the version of Kibana that has all the security stuff rolled in, the ODFE version.
Okay.
So I'll get you the command to install Habitat, because this is the one that I've been using in my work, and I didn't run into any of these problems with it. So that's the big curl to install Habitat.
Y'all really should make that URL as a git.io. All right, habs install.
All right. And then hab pkg install
pkg install
kibana -odfe.
Yep, like that.
Yep. Oh, sorry. Put open-distro /. We're also going to want to put the systemd unit file in place, which we did on the ESO1 box.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to go cat that file? Should be in your history. Yeah, systemd system That's the one.
There we go. Yeah. Oh god, now I gotta remember what is it. LN system.
Oh, Damon dash reload.
Thank you. Okay.
All right. Now, do a user ad on Hab.
Just like that.
Yep.
Okay.
And before we start it, we're going to want to build a config file. So let's cat out the kibana.yaml and grab the things that we added to it. I think there's only a few things that we actually need. We're going to need the host name of the server.
Yeah, hang on. So,
Well, actually, I can just paste you an example config to get you started,
okay.
and you can just plug in the new values, and it shouldn't be a problem. All right. So make a TOML file and put these contents in it.
Mm-hmm.
You can change that enabled to false.
This one?
Yep. Because we're not doing SSL on this. Change that URL to one of your IPs.
Uh, 136. Oops. Ah. 1 second. Okay. What else?
Now we're gonna want to try loading the service. So first off, you want to do a hab config apply. So, and then it's gonna be kibana-odfe.default. It's the service name.
Kibana.odfe.
Dash ODFE. .default. And then the version. So we're gonna do the little date string trick. So $, open parentheses. In single quotes, you want to put the +% in single quotes. And close paren, and then your file. Oh, systemctl start hab-soup. All right,
okay.
Cool.
That was
So
like
try
a
that.
server. Yeah. There we go.
Now we want to do hab sbc load and then open dash distro / kibana dash ODFE. And do a quick journal CTL dash F.
Seems like things are happening.
All right, now try loading that URL. And you got that same warning, but is it doing HTTP? Is it doing SSL? Try HTTPS. Yeah, I guess you can't turn off SSL in. What the?
Failure.
So there is a certain failure. So do you see where it says connection client error? That just means that your browser didn't like the SSL cert, which is fine. You might even want to do a grep-v for client to get rid of those. And then try refreshing it and seeing if there's an error.
It doesn't like this npm again.
Yeah, that's a warning. That shouldn't be causing any errors.
Hmm.
Can I see the log output again?
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, something's happening.
Oh, hey, cool.
It all just timed out, basically.
Yeah, but now, so I think what it's doing is it's optimizing a bunch of JavaScript junk, and we just weren't giving it enough time. So I did see that it was trying to connect to the wrong.
There you go. Yep.
Control C it. Do a cat hab svc / hab / svc. Kibana dash ODFE config, and then there's a kibana .yaml in there.
Yep, that didn't update.
Yeah, so run that hab config apply again. It looks like you can't actually apply the config until the service is actually there.
Nope, didn't update it.
Do hab svc status.
Have SVC status.
Run that again. It's restarting on us. Cat the file.
Cat the file. Nope. And also the username is wrong also.
Yeah, it's all the defaults. It still has the default config. Do hab service stop open distro kibana ODFE SVC.
Kibana.
You gotta give it the full. It's open dash distro kibana dash ODFE. Now try doing the config apply. I've seen issues where if a service is looping very quickly, it's not taking the config change.
Didn't take it again. Do we need to kill it like we did last time? Like it sits here, right? No? No,
no,
Kibana's
it's not.
No.
No, that was due to a very specific bug that was in the Elasticsearch plan. So try starting it. If hab svc start. Cat the file and see if it took the change when you did that.
Nope.
It is not. Let me see your toml file. So that's all correct. It should be picking that up, but it's not. Try copying all of that. And go into the folder hab, just the root folder hab. Create a folder called user. And then create a folder called kibana-odfe. And then a folder called config. And then create a file called user.toml and paste it in there. I think I got that right.
And restart it?
It should pick that up automatically.
Yep, that worked.
Yeah, I'm not sure why the hab config apply wasn't doing the right thing. That's also why SSL was forced on before, which it's now off. So we want to take the SSL off. But Chrome now hides that kind of stuff from you. Super annoying.
It's not ready yet.
Do journal ctl-f. Yeah. grep-v client is fine. Well, there's no SSL, so you won't have those errors anymore. Unable to revive connection, HTTPS. So it can't connect.
Is that the wrong IP?
Try curling that IP.
curl-k-u admin https oops 9200 /_
Just do that. That should be enough.
For search.
Yeah. So journal ctl-f. Let's look at the error again. Unable to revive connection. But we know that's a good connection string. Cat that config file again. Password's right. Username's right. do a hab service stop on Kibana. And in another terminal, start tailing out the logs so we can watch exactly what happens when it starts up.
Damn it. I'm trying to get my Tmux Vifu back up. Tmux. So then I
I've
can
always
do,
been a screen guy myself.
hang on, give me 2 seconds. There we go. Nice.
Sweet. So tail out the logs and then do a hab service start.
Same. So, well, no, it said yellow, right? Hold on.
Well, it says waiting for Elasticsearch. All right, Control C that, and let's go read those logs. So let's scroll up. Keep going. We want before all that.
Here we go. This is actually it's seeing it, right?
Hold up. Security plugin uninitialized, initialized, UI registered. Scroll down a little bit. So that's it, starting everything up. Oh, it doesn't like the SSL cert that Elasticsearch is serving up.
How are you seeing that?
Certificate signature failure. So you see, what it did is it did a head on that, and it doesn't trust the certificate. So cat the config again. I think there's one little bit of config we missed. Yeah, there is. Go look at that file that we put in user.toml.
Hang on 1 second.
Yeah, I know and I know exactly what happened. Remember how we were going to copy the config settings out and I just sent you like a pre-rolled thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I left out the verification mode setting.
Oh. So it's right here?
No, it's under .elasticsearch.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's in square brackets kibana yaml.elasticsearch.ssl.
Kibana. Right, so
Yeah, just the exact same thing as that square bracket above you, but with you do want this indented though, because it's going to be one key deeper. .elasticsearch.ssl. Yeah, toml is a little bit weird. And then on the next line, you want to close that bracket. You want verification mode, and it was with a capital A equals none.
Okay.
Yep. Save that file, and now just journal ctl-f. If that file changes, it should automatically restart Kibana.
There we go. Wait. Oh, there it is again. I spelled verification wrong.
Oh. Yeah, it's missing an I. VERI. You put verification. Which sounds like someone very Texas saying verification.
There we go. That looks a lot better.
Let's see. Yeah, I was a little lagged behind you. So this will, since we use the open distro package, it uses the same credentials for your user, and we could even make like a special dashboard only user that can't tweak data. But for now, we can just use the admin one. I actually, just out of sheer coincidence, did kind of a deep dive into those permissions. Do explore on my own. We don't want their data. We want our data. So the first thing that you need to know about is to make a dashboard, you need to give it a hint as to what kind of data is coming in. So go to management, index patterns. So it lists all the indices that are there, which there's really, the dot indices are hidden. So there's really only one with data. So in that little box there where it says index name, you want to put metric beat dash star. So what we're basically going to do is tell it, hey, if you see an index that matches this regex, or this glob actually, this is what the data looks like, right? So each new index type that comes in, you need to make a pattern for if you're going to graph it out. So hit next step and click that drop down. So it saw all of those fields and it's saying which one of these is your timestamp, because it's trying to do data over time. And the default timestamp for pretty much everything is at timestamp. So all the beats are going to follow that. But if you made your own thing, the timestamp might be something else. Another thing that might come up is, say you're putting in log messages that have like a system timestamp and then a different timestamp. You can tell it exactly which field to treat as the actual time that for that document.
Got it.
And create the index. So these are all the fields that it saw that exist, and a lot of those are really all the fields that could exist. There's a ton of them because each of those modules has some optional fields. But if like for some reason a field is not showing up right, you can go in here and tweak what it should be. I've found that useful for like disk space and stuff, because you can tell it in here, no, whenever you see that's bytes, convert to megabytes or whatever. But that should be good enough for us to get started with the data. So head over to Discover.
What's this timeline?
Timeline is really powerful and really complicated, and is an entire day on its own.
Okay, not touching that one.
It's basically a programming language for generating graphs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's the 301 course. We're on the 101 course.
Right.
So this is a quick way to just go look at documents. Where it says metric beat would be a drop down if we had any other index patterns.
Got it.
But if you look at like in the center there, we have all those documents, and there's a little triangle you can click to expand a document. No, do you see the fields time and source to your right? Expand one of those documents, and you can view this as JSON or normal. But this is the actual data that metric beat is sending in.
Wow.
So you have all kinds of cool stuff. So let's see if we can find something that we would care about, that we'd want a graph of. So CPU is probably going to be a good one. You can look at fields on the left, or you can also just expand a document and look at it. Look at system. Do you see system CPU total PCT?
System CPU.
They're alphabetical, so it'll be system.cpu.total.
Yep, right here.
Yeah. So actually hit visualize. So let's make a graph of CPU over time.
Okay.
So we probably, so if you see metrics, hit the little blue triangle next to metrics. Not that one. The other one, the one to the left of it. That one. So what you probably want is the average of that field for the time frame you're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
And then select the field, type system.cpu, and it'll start autofilling for you. You can do idle percent. I would do total percent. That's a good one. And then hit the play button that you hit a little bit earlier.
Okay.
Now hit panel settings. So one thing I don't like is when you clicked visualize, it looked like it just decided to do bar graph. Let's see if there's a way we can change that without like creating a new visualization. Go to metric. Actually, I don't think we can. So let's actually axe this visualization and start a little bit fresh. Click visualize in the top left. Yeah, right there. And create a visualization. I'm thinking we want a line chart.
Mm-hmm.
So let's grab that. And pick your index. Yeah. So then average. Luckily, we didn't get too far. System does, yeah. And we're not going to put a custom label is useful if you put multiple different lines on one graph.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not doing that, it's probably not really what you need. And for bucket, we're only doing one thing, so just pick x-axis. And then click on that. You'll have a few options there. We probably want a date histogram. Almost all of these are going to be date histograms.
Mm-hmm.
And then hit the play button and show us what we got so far. So this is your CPU percent over time.
Okay, so for fun, let's kick off a build.
Well, before you do that,
Okay.
there are a couple more things I want to tweak on this graph.
Okay.
So let's save it, which is at the top, like way at the top on the right. Yeah, there. And you can call it whatever you want. Like Jenkins CPU is probably good. Or actually, you probably just want to save it as anything CPU because we haven't filtered on just Jenkins. Jenkins is just the only thing that exists right now. But we can tweak that later. So one thing that kind of sucks is I think it's showing you from 0 to like 1 dot being 100%.
Mm-hmm.
So this is probably like 14 or 1.4%, but the numbers aren't great, right? You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So go to management on the left. Index patterns. And on the filter, find that system.cpu. So it thinks it's a number. Click the little edit on that, yeah. And it is a number, but the format right there, percentage. Scroll down, save that. And now go to visualize.
There we go.
Now that's super useful if you have a thing that's like bytes, because it'll do the bytes to kilobytes and megabytes math for you.
Nice.
So that's always like, if the numbers are ever like not exactly what you want, go poke around in there and you might be able to make it just right.
Nice.
So now we've got a very basic graph. Let's make a dashboard. Or actually, you were about to, there was something else you wanted to do. Do you remember what that was?
No.
Okay, let's make a dashboard real quick. All right, so click add at the top. And then close that out. And then let's just save this dashboard real quick. You can also store time with the dashboard, which is useful if there's like an outage. You can go find the time of the outage, click save time with the dashboard, and then you can send someone a link to a dashboard that automatically goes to the time that there was that outage. So right now we only have one graph, so it's not great. But do you see that add a filter?
Add a filter.
On the left?
Yep.
So do a search for host name.
Beat host name?
Host, yeah. Is Jenkins. Save. So what you could do is you could have a Jenkins dashboard. You could have, basically, what you could do is you can make all your stats on one dashboard and then look at each individual box by filtering on the host name. Or if you wanted to say, look at all your Elasticsearch servers, you could do beeps.hostname is Elastic star or something, or look for a tag, and it'll show you the average CPU across all three.
Nice.
So let's add a few more graphs to this, and then next time we get together, we can go a little deeper because I have to go pretty soon. Into how you handle multiple nodes. So what you're going to want to do between now and then is install metric beat on the other boxes and send more data in.
Yep.
But let's create a few more visualizations.
All right, so visualize.
Actually, I usually start with discover.
Discover.
So let's make a cool little disk space, but instead of being over time, like current disk space. So we want to find a field that's disk space related. So it's going to be system.something. So that's actually just going to search for documents. So I would just control F on the page and type system.disk, or just scroll down. The problem is metric beat has so many. See system. File system used percent is probably the one we want. Now let's do a few different things here. So let's do used percent, click on, so what that ad just did is now it's only showing documents that have that field. You see selected fields in the top left? really just what you want to do is just either copy that into your buffer or just remember that you want system file system used %,
Okay.
because we're going to go over to visualize and make it.
Okay.
Go to, well, the first thing you want to do is go to management, because we're going to have the same problem here we had with the other %.
Okay.
And then visualize. Click on the top left, visualize, because it took you back to the last thing you were looking at. Yep, hit the plus. So do you want to gauge like a little almost fuel gauge on like what your disk space looks like?
Sure.
So hit the plus on the metrics, or the triangle. And I would do max, or actually click the aggregation again. Scroll down. So this gauge, so the graph is showing you a time period like an hour or something.
Mm-hmm.
Which number do we want to use for this gauge?
I
The
don't know.
highest disk space was, the average over the last hour?
Probably the average.
Okay. And then the field, we want that field we've been looking for. And then hit plus, or hit the play button, the top.
Okay. Those numbers are a little off, aren't they? Like,
no,
so
it's 11%. So green is up to 50. Yellow is going to be 50 to 75, and red is over 75.
So shouldn't the yellow be like right about, or the green should be like right about there?
Should be. I don't know why we're not seeing it, because it does have the number right there. Mm-hmm. Where it says buckets,
mm-hmm.
hit cancel. We don't want to split group. Now hit, all right, so that didn't change anything. Go to options. All right, so you can change a bunch of things here. Oh, try percentage mode, then hit play.
Nope.
So you can change the ranges if you want. Ooh, try a circle. Those always look cool. Oh, I know what's going on. It's looking at it as a number. So it's 0.011. So try percentage mode again. Let me Google this real quick, because that's what it's tripping up on. Oh, actually, what you could do is just tweak the ranges. So that should be 0 to 0.0 or to 0.5. The next one should be 0.5 to 0.75. And that should be 0.75 to 1.0. And take the percentage mode out, because that's definitely not doing it. And then hit play.
There we go.
There you go. Yeah.
Nice.
And then, so save that real quick. Don't put Jenkins on there because we didn't actually filter on Jenkins. This is just a disk gauge or disk usage gauge. Let's create one more display to add to the dashboard. So click visualize again. Or actually discover, yeah. Let's do disk free in bytes. So it'd be system.file system.
Used in bytes now. Wouldn't we have to do some math with that?
Maybe system. So try adding file system avail, or click add on that. So yeah, if you now look at one of those documents. All right. So let's scroll through this document and we're looking for, I would go with free space in bytes if we can. It's alphabetical. Oh, scroll to the very top, actually. Click add a filter. Top left. Paste the field in there. It exists. Hit save. And now look at one of those documents. All right, so system.filesystem.free. I assume that's bytes. 33 billion, yeah, 33 gigs. So the first time you mess with a number, you always have to go mess with the index patterns. That's something that goes away after you've been using this for a while because you'll have set most of the patterns that you care about. So paste that filter. Format bytes. Second one. Yep. That way it'll show us something in a way that people actually care about. Now visualize, create a new one. And let's make this, there is a metric is the one you want. Hit the plus on it, because right now it's just telling you how many. So yeah, you want the average, which will be the same number as the gauge. And hit play.
There you go.
And now save this and call it like disk free, and maybe text or something. Yeah. Now let's go edit our dashboard and make it a little more usable. So click edit at the top. And then click add. And then close that out. And you can move things around. So I would put the disk space directly under the gauge. And I would make it shorter. Or you might even want to put it over. Do you see the little arrow next to those numbers on the gauge? Click it.
Like that.
Yeah, and there's one more thing you want to set, which is super, super important. Go to options, use dark theme. Oh, way better. So much better. And let's save this guy. And then go to share. And short URL. And now if you can paste that, and you could send this to your ops team and be like, hey guys, keep an eye on this dashboard.
Nice. Wait. I had to log in. So if I log out.
Yeah, you gotta log out to. You should get a login screen. Yep.
So you can't just do a read only just off the bat. You have to log in.
So what you would need to do, and that's something that I can help you with, is you would need to make a user in Elasticsearch that has read access to all of the data, but doesn't have the ability to write any data, and then they would log in with that user.
Got it.
The user that I created a user for some of our customers that has the ability to write to the .kibana index, but to only read all the others. So they have a user that can make and edit dashboards, but can't actually edit the data. Another thing you might want to look at real quick is go to DevTools. So you know how you were using curl to like query Elasticsearch? Scroll down a little bit. Or actually just hit the you can click get to work, make that go away. Yep. So hit the little play button on that.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, and you can edit that query on the left. You're doing a get on underscore search. You could put like the index you want to search, do a post. So instead of sitting there and running curl with JSON files over and over again, you can just in the UI do all your messing around.
Nice.
So it's a lot better.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah. So now we've got a very basic dashboard. So what you're going to want to do is install metric beat on every instance you care about and point them all at Elasticsearch. And then you're going to start getting real data. And then you can make dashboards that have all kinds of different stats.
Nice. This sounds like a great little project for me to do before next week.
Yeah, and next week, is there anything specific? Actually, next week does not work because I'm going to be in Colorado on vacation. So you're going to have to find someone else to teach you something.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, no, I will continue on with this, and then we'll have to sync up sooner or later, and that's good to know. How do I change the name of this visualization?
Click save.
Yeah.
Yeah, save as a new visualization. Or just change it. Yeah, and in your dashboard, you can put all kinds of filters, but usually the visualizations are pretty generic.
Nice. There we go. So it's host name is Jenkins right now, and that's all generic.
Yeah, and there's a little, if you go to beat host name, you can click the trash can. And now it's showing you the average across all of your boxes, which some of these probably won't make sense for that. So often you'll save filters in your dashboards. So you'll have a dashboard that's like auto-filtered for Elasticsearch cluster or stuff like that.
Yeah.
We can also get more advanced where you can have multiple lines on the same graph and each one's going to be the CPU of a different box. So you can do all kinds of cool stuff. Kind of prerequisite for that is getting a little bit more data in there, but I think you're pretty good to go to spin up some more metric beat stuff.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what I'm going to be doing now.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
Well, thank you, Thomas.
No problem.
You've kicked me off to do some pretty good stuff. And thank you for watching. And I appreciate it. This video will be up on YouTube here in a little bit too. so we can. So if you've missed it, you'll be able to see it later. And you want to say bye?
Cool. Have a good one, everyone.
All right. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you. I'll be streaming again on Tuesday. Probably something completely different. All right.